Before Drake dominated streaming and Kendrick won Pulitzers, 9 hip-hop crews in 1993 moved hundreds of thousands of records each, with just one hit, then vanished from the charts forever. They created the samples and flows every rapper today still copies. Number 1, Tag Team with... Number 1, Tag Team. This Miami duo hit number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 and went platinum, but most people today confuse their track with 9-5 South's similar sounding that dropped the same summer. Yeah, 1993 had a literal battle of the verses, and both crews swore they came first. Tag Team's version, produced by Steve Gibson and released in May of 1993, became the bigger crossover hit, dominating sports arenas and wedding receptions for exactly 6 months. The album dropped July 8, 1993 on Life Records and Bellmark. But here's the twist. Tag Team Cecil Glenn and Steve Gibson tried multiple follow-ups, including But none charted. They went from number 2 in America to completely forgotten by 1994. The track lives on in every sports stadium today, but nobody remembers who made it. That's the definition of a forgotten one-hit wonder. Number 2, Souls of Mischief.
This is how we chill from 93 till. This is how we chill from 93.
While Tag Team was dominating pop radio, this Oakland crew dropped what became an underground classic that barely touched the mainstream charts. The track peaked at number 72 on the Billboard Hot 165 on the R&B charts, which sounds like a failure until you realize it's now considered one of the greatest hip-hop songs ever made. Released February 13, 1993, this smooth jazz rap track featured production from the Hieroglyphics crew and sampling from Billy Cobham's. The album dropped September 28, 1993. Empathetic. Here's what makes this forgotten. The group never had another Hot 100 hit ever. They continued making critically acclaimed underground albums, but radio completely ignored them after this. Modern producers sample this track constantly. Tyler, the Creator, Joey Badass, and Logic have all referenced or interpolated it. The beat became more famous than the group, which is the cruelest type of one-hit wonder status. Your sound becomes legendary, but your name gets erased. Number 3, MC Ren.
Take what's mine, tried to jack, and the bitch played it off.
Most people know MC Ren as the forgotten member of NWA, the guy who wasn't Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, or Eazy-E. But in 1993, he dropped his solo debut on Ruthless Records, and the lead single peaked at number 90 on the Billboard Hot 100. That's his only solo Hot 100 entry ever, even though he was in one of the biggest rap groups in history. The album dropped November 16, 1993, and while it went gold and got critical respect for its production, mainstream radio wouldn't touch it. The single, released October 29, 1993, featured classic West Coast G-Funk production, but couldn't break through the pop crossover ceiling. Critics praised his lyricism, calling him NWA's most underrated writer, but the industry had already moved on to the next generation. 1993 was brutal like that. You could be a legend's protege and still get one chart entry. MC Ren continued releasing albums through the late 90s and 2000s, but never charted again. His NWA legacy overshadows everything, making his solo hit truly forgotten. Number 4, Diggable Planets.
I'm cool like that. I'm cool like that. I'm cool like that.
This Brooklyn jazz rap trio hit number 15 on the Billboard Hot 100 in March of 1993, won the Grammy for Best Rap Performance by a Duo or Group, then never had another Top 40 hit. Astonished, let that sink in, they won a Grammy and disappeared from pop charts forever. The single actually dropped in November of 1992, but peaked in early 1993. The album, released February 9, 1993, of the track sampled Art Blakey's, gave hip-hop a completely different sound, smooth, intellectual, jazzy, not gangsta, not party rap, something entirely new. Butterfly, Ladybug Mecca, and Doodlebug created what critics called, but mainstream audiences weren't ready for sustained doses of it. They tried with and but nothing clicked, like the group split, reformed, split again. Today, they're respected as pioneers of alternative hip-hop, but ask anyone under 35 about Diggable Planets and you'll get blank stares. The Grammy didn't save them from one-hit wonder status, it just made the fall from grace more documented. Yo, we're just getting warmed up with these forgotten 93 classics. If you're feeling this deep dive into the year hip-hop changed forever, hit that subscribe button for Hip Hop Legends Archives. We fact-check every claim to keep the culture's real history alive. Coming up next, the Miami bass track that outsold Snoop Dogg, then vanished. Number 5, Dewey's. This Miami duo of LaShawn Owens and Creo D hit number 12 on the Billboard Hot 100 with a Miami bass track about women wearing short shorts. Real lyrical miracle stuff right there. But here's why it matters. Released in June of 1993 and reportedly sold over 1 million copies, making it one of the year's biggest hits. The problem? Nobody remembers Deuce existed. The track appeared on the album of the same name, and while it climbed to number 12 nationally, it dominated Southern radio for months. Produced during Miami bass music's brief mainstream moment, it competed with Tag Team and 2 Live Crew for pop crossover success. Critics dismissed it as novelty rap, but it outsold albums by serious MCs who are remembered today. Deuce tried follow-ups like and but none charted. By 1994, they were done. Miami bass as a genre got pushed back underground when G-Funk and East Coast boom bap dominated. Deuce became a footnote, a trivia answer, a moment for people who lived through 1993's summer. The track still plays at some Florida parties, but the group? Completely forgotten by mainstream hip-hop history. Interested? Number 6.
I was a kid again. Back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore.
Ahmad, at just 18 years old, Ahmad Lewis dropped this nostalgia track that peaked at number 26 on the Billboard Hot 100 in the summer of 1993. Think about that. An 18-year-old rapping about the track sampled heavily from the Whatnots and Al Greens, creating a sound that felt like reminiscing about the early 80s, even though it was only 1993. The self-titled album dropped in September of '93 on Giant Records. The single became a West Coast anthem, getting heavy rotation on MTV and radio, competing with Snoop Dogg's and Dr. Dre's for airplay. But here's the tragedy: Ahmad never had another charting single. Reluctant. He tried with tracks like but the one-hit curse was real. Critics loved his positive message and clean lyrics in an era dominated by gangsta rap, but that might have been the problem. He was too clean for the streets and too hip-hop for pop. Ahmad continued making music into the 2000s, but remained his only legacy, a perfect summer of '93 time capsule that nobody associates with his name anymore. Number 7. Foosh Nickens. This Brooklyn trio with the cartoonish name had one of 1993's most unique sounds, lightning-fast flows with pop culture references and Looney Tunes samples. The track featured Shaquille O'Neal, yes, that Shaquille O'Neal, on the chorus. Released in October of 1993, it peaked at number 39 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became their only significant pop hit. The song appeared on the soundtrack, capitalizing on the basketball star's brief rap career. Foosh Nickens, that's Chip Fu, Mach Fu, and Pac Fu, had a complex rhyme style that influenced underground MCs but confused mainstream audiences. Their debut album dropped in 1992 and went gold, but this 1993 single was their commercial peak. They tried to maintain momentum with tracks like but radio programmers couldn't figure out where to place them. Too weird for gangsta fans, too hardcore for pop, too cartoonish for backpackers. The group split in the mid-90s, and today most hip-hop fans have never heard of them. Their rapid-fire delivery influenced future artists, but the Foosh Nickens name, gone from collective memory. Number 8. Paperboy. This Oakland teenager, born Mitchell Johnson, hit number 10 on the Billboard Hot 100 with this minimalist track in January of 1994, but it was recorded and originally released in late 1993. The song had almost no lyrics, just repeated over a stripped-down beat that somehow became irresistible. Produced by Rhythm D, it represented the extreme minimalism movement in Bay Area hip-hop. Radio DJs struggled to introduce it. The track dominated urban radio and crossed over to pop. Paperboy was only 17 years old when it peaked. The album dropped on Next Plateau Records. Here's the problem: that was it. Paperboy never had another charting single. He tried with but the magic was gone. Critics called beginner's luck a fluke that couldn't be repeated. The industry chewed him up and spit him out before he turned 20. Today occasionally appears on 90s throwback playlists, but nobody knows who Paperboy was, what happened to him, or that he was a teenager when he made one of 93's catchiest hooks. That's forgotten. Number 9, 9-5 South. We're ending where we started, with the other from 1993. This Jacksonville, Florida crew of AB, Artis Bartley, and Jay Ski dropped their version in April, beating Tag Team to market by about a month. Their track peaked at number 11 on the Billboard Hot 100 and went platinum, but somehow Tag Team's at number 2 gets all the credit today. 9-5 South claimed they created the phrase first, documented in their performances months before recording. The track appeared on their album on Rip It Records. The production featured the classic Miami bass booming 808 drums that dominated southern clubs. But here's where it gets messy. The The phrase was allegedly a Miami strip club chant that multiple groups claimed ownership of. The legal battles and confusion probably hurt both groups in the long run. 9-5 South never had another hit. They tried with, and but lightning doesn't strike twice. Today, when people hear at a sports game, they usually think it's Tag Team's song, even though 9-5 South's version might have come first and almost charted as high. That's the ultimate forgotten one-hit wonder, being erased by your own competition and a nearly identical title. That's the real history of 1993's forgotten one-hit wonders from hip-hop legends' archives. 9 tracks that moved millions of records combined, dominated radio for months, then got erased from hip-hop's collective memory. If you lived through 1993 or just love authentic hip-hop history, drop a like and subscribe. Tell us in the comments which of these 9 tracks you actually remember, and be honest, we fact-checked everything to keep the culture's history straight. Until next time, peace, love, and hip-hop.